Alright, another project. Sister's car. It's a 2013, 2013 Volkswagen Passat with the 2.5 inline 5. Yeah. So, and also I'll be doing a tour review as well. The Maddox Coolant System Test and Refill Kit. It uses pneumatic. It's a pneumatic vacuum style pump. I still gotta put it together. I just opened it, so I got the adapter in. It's 35 millimeter. If anybody else is working on these cars, it is a 35 millimeter little adapter. It's a rubber plug, or rubber adapter that just sticks down, and then the port of the tool fits down inside of that, and then you hold the top and you turn this nut here, and it just squeezes up and expands and makes a tight seal. So the air inlet is right here. Like I said, I haven't really put this thing fully together yet, but yeah, I gotta get some Teflon tape put on that, so I ain't gotta worry about that leaking. So yeah, comes with its own little air fitting connected in. I'm gonna try it with my little 3-gallon compressor. It's the only thing I got right now. Still working on getting me a big 60-gallon, but I'll do what I can with it. Yeah, and the way these tools work, I'm gonna try to get you through it best I can. Air goes in. It's like a Venturi effect. Air goes, blows out. This is the exhaust port for the air, and as it blows through, it draws. It's just a Venturi. It draws the negative pressure out of the coolant system, and this gauge just measures a vacuum. So from what I've researched and done on this particular, on the vacuum fills, on the coolant systems, they say pull them down to 25 and let them sit for at least 5-10 minutes or so. Make sure you don't have any leaks. But these systems work under pressure, not under vacuum. So results may vary as far as once everything gets up and running. This tube here is your tube that you put down into your coolant, either bucket or gallon jug, however you wish to supply your system. It does have a screener or a screen inside of there to keep large trash out of it, so you're not sucking in leaves and debris if you're trying to reuse coolant like I'm gonna be doing. The first issue with this car was she said she had gotten the radiator replaced. It's got a brand new radiator in it. They done the thermostat and housing, which is underneath the intake. I can't verify that because I really cannot see it. So if they did, they did. I'm not going to take it all apart because I'm not fighting it. That's not really the reason why she brought it to me. So usually you see the normal vehicles, Ford, Dodge, Chevrolet, however you please, old, new. Typically the thermostat is on the upper end of the radiator. So the thermostat would be on the upper radiator hose, and the spring would be inside of the block, pointed towards the block. So that's what actually gets hot and opens and lets it flow out. That way it goes from top to bottom, and the lower radiator hose is really the cool side, and it goes straight to the water pump, and it circulates, goes from there. So this one is not like that. The upper hose is free flowing. It's tapped to the block. It's free flowing. It doesn't do anything but just connect the engine to the upper radiator. The lower radiator hose snakes around and goes up into the bottom of the intake there, which goes into the housing, which has a thermostat in it. So this one's, I guess it's a reverse flow. I'm not. Don't beat me up on it, because this is honestly my first time working on a Volkswagen. So I had to read up on these things to figure out what and how these things operated. So I did end up calling an import shop to talk me through this thing, because the issue she's having is overheating. After she got the radiator and thermostat done, they were gonna the shop was trying to tell her she needs another radiator, another thermostat, probably a water pump and a heater core, and they were going to charge her like $1,300 to do that. And I was like, well, being family, I was like, well, I guess I can take a gander at it and see what I can do with it. You know, I try to help my family out, but I don't really advertise mechanics, because I just mess with my own stuff right now. I kind of I got out of, you know, doing it for random, you know, Joe citizen. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, once I got it here, I verified it was overheating, and that was just idle. So I checked the coolant. It was actually full, but once it heated up, it got to 190 and it started bubbling. So it was just bubbling, and it would just drop down and it would fill back up and start bubbling again. So I'm like, maybe it's got air in it. So I started trying to purge it. I called the import shop, and he told me it could be air. He said it could be airlocked. He said run it at high RPM and see if that, you know, and keep burping it, high RPM, keep burping it, force the water through so it can, you know, purge the air out. I done that for about 2 hours. I messed with it, and I called him back and told him, I was like, dude, it's not getting any better. He said, well, you can try letting it sit overnight and, you know, just top it back off in the morning once everything cools back down. That way it draws in and, you know, self-burping, so to say. So I done that and come out this morning and checked it. It was low, so I filled it up to its full mark and ran it. I drove it about, I don't know, 5 miles or so, and it was good. And then all of a sudden it just started heating up again. So I'm like, dang. So I guess it didn't fix it. So I got it back home. I bit the bullet. I was like, they told me they're gonna have to vacuum fill it, which was another, you know, $300 to $400. He said vacuum fill is probably the only way you want to do these cars when you do crack the coolant system in any service interval. So so I bit the bullet, went to Harbor Freight, bought this Maddox tool, Maddox, however you want to say it, and I'm gonna try it out. I looked at some reviews on YouTube for it. Some guys said they hated it, some guys loved it, and the actual reviews on Harbor Freight's website, a guy actually used it for a Porsche, and he said that was the best investment he's ever done in his car, because he was fighting the same issue of burping the system. So I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to do it. You know, it's me spending, you know, pretty much $100 and have a tool I can use for any vehicle and save her some money as well, and me some headache. So once I got I got to drain the coolant. So I pulled the lower radiator hose off. I had a little drain fans. I cleaned them out. And a bucket there. And this bucket is only a 15-quart bucket. And that's all the coolant that I got out of it. Yeah. So I'm like, oh wow. There's no way this coolant system is that small. So I'm glad I didn't, you know, just do the couple mile run and said it was good and send it back to her, and she'd, you know, say it was overheating again. So here we go. I'm gonna get this finished, set it up, and that's it. I'll go from there. Okay, got the air hose hooked up. Need to go check the air pressure. It says don't put over, it says maximum pressure is 90 psi. So let's go up here. Let's see. That should be cool right there. Just touch over 90. I know it says maximum, but this is a small air hose, and it's 50 psi, or 50 psi. Wow, 3/8 diameter. So I give it a little bit more pressure, so increase flow rate. Give it a healthy flow rate. All right, the little manual of the tool says to turn the ignition on, key off, or ignition on, engine off, and set the heater to full speed. While you're doing that, so you can achieve, it says so you can achieve maximum vacuum. So I'm just following the manual. I mean, I didn't see any other guys doing that, but you know, is what it is. And we just turn it on and let it rip. Alright, so the upper hose is sucked flat. The bottom hose is sucked flat. Let's see. Yeah, the bottom hose is sucked flat. Heater core hoses, I mean they're rigid, so they're not probably aren't gonna suck flat. Let's see. Yeah. So let's see. This is a water pump. This goes to the water pump. So yeah. I think we're okay. Since the compressor cut off, we'll see what we can pull down some more. Let that sit for a minute, make sure it doesn't move. Okay, for now I have this bucket pretty much 3/4 way full. Well, half. I got 1 gallon 50/50 in it, antifreeze coolant, and 1 gallon water so far. So I got this dropped down to I want to say that 27-ish. It's held. It held in the time of me getting all this ready. So now, what I'm gonna do, it's gonna be kind of hard for me to hold my phone and do this at the same time. I'm gonna purge the hose here. So yeah, I'm gonna purge the hose, get the what's in the tube up to the valve, and then I'll pretty much pull vacuum back down, and then that way we'll have a full 27 instead of like whatever it'll be sucking it in. So all right, pull it back down and gonna keep this submerged because it wants to curl back up and go suck air. So, and then you just open the valve, and when it returns to 0, it's full. So it is doing its thing. Alright, there we have it. It's back down to 0 and pretty much just let go. So we have not a good bit left. So I'll just dump that back in there into that jug and have her keep it in the trunk just in case she needs more. That's it. I mean, that's all I can do. I don't know what else to do. set fired up and let it go. See what happens. Alright, so overall, I guess that's all I can do for this tool, or wow, do for this car. It's pretty much what the shop was going to do too, so I'll just run it and see what happens. As far as this little Maddox tool goes, the only thing I don't like about it, when you put the air hose fitting on there, the case doesn't close. So it's like you got to take the dang fitting off every time you put it back in the case, because it hits the top. Huh, that's odd. So I guess I'm going to take that back off and stick it back in this little port right there. Huh. Because me, I like, when I got cases of tools now, I don't know what I know back then. I've done the same thing, but I kind of like having my tools back in the case. Makes them easier to find and don't get damaged when I need it again. So, alright. Follow, like, subscribe. That's all I got. Thanks.